PennsPeakRadio.com.
Penn's Peak Radio, and there you have it with some Yes music, and I'm going to hear a lot more of it. Going to come in next week, March 30th, right here at Penn's Peak. How cool is that going to be?
What's even cooler?
Yeah, what's even cooler is
we don't have to wait until next Wednesday to talk to Yes.
Yeah, how about it? We have Chris Squire live on the show here with us. Chris, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Absolutely incredible, man. I'll tell you what, this is right up my alley. A friend, I'm sure, a friend and a colleague a while back that I had on my show doing this for like 29 years. Somebody else who I'm sure is in your repertoire and started up at the famed Marquee Club. Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull I had on the show not too long ago.
Right, yeah, I know Ian.
And now you're joining the ranks.
Yeah, my goodness, this is absolutely incredible. Chris Squire of Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And Chris, welcome to the show. And I guess starting right out, Leah, you know, you and I have been talking too. That's where it all started, I guess, for Yes over maybe, or is that where the big break was? Let's start right there at the beginning for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Yes did start at rehearsing and our first shows in the London area, and we were fortunate enough to play at the Marquee Club. Actually, my previous band, The Sin, had also had a residency at the Marquee Club, so that was I was familiar with the people there who ran the bookings, and so so when Yes got up to speed there with its creativity, we got given a break, and so a lot of our early shows were from there.
Yeah, and a famed club that it was. A couple of other things, too.
Chris, how do you feel that the Marquee Club played a role and opened doors to your successes that you've had along the road?
Yeah, well, it did. I mean, in actual fact, it was... it just was one of those landmark places where, everyone who ever made it, played there. And, of course, it was, the place of Jimi Hendrix's first ever show in London, too, where he kicked off his career. And, of course, lots of famous bands from that time as well. The Cream, name one. Everyone used to play there, so I guess that it was the benchmark that if you were good enough to play there, then they book you at the other clubs around England as well.
Right. Do you feel that's where you adopted a lot of your followers and these math magicians that ended up coming along the way with you?
Wasn't the Disciples at one time called math magicians?
Yeah.
Right, math, and and I remember the Church of Prague. I go back, like I'm a Yes fan, man. Like driving around on the back roads, that's what it was all about with Yes on the radio, whether it was on a cassette or an 8-track, and even the vinyl that I have at home yet. But Church of Prague, where'd that all come from?
The Church of what?
Church of Prague.
Oh. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Really? I saw that in an article. I saw that in an article once. The Church of Prague and the Disciples were called math magicians. See, there's something that...
Well, you have a following out there, and we're enlightening you to this.
That sounds groovy.
Yeah.
Right? A couple of other things. I've had people send me a whole bunch of questions when they knew that we were going to have you on the show, at least for a little time here. As we know, you're real busy, but a couple of things. The chemistry with 8 musicians on the Union tour. Was it difficult coming up with a set list?
It's always difficult coming up with a set list for any Yes tour, actually, because we have such a wealth of material from different eras of Yes that it's always difficult to try and choose which are going to be the best ones for a live performance, and we always try to change it up a bit too, to make sure that we're not just playing the same songs. And, but harking back to 1991, which was when I guess you're referring to that CD, DVD that's just been released the tour from that year, well, the Union tour. Yeah, so I bet there was quite a few different eras of material on that, and I believed at the time that we released the Union album, which had new material on it at the time. So, and then threw in a lot of the favorites as well.
I have, and like I said, I had a whole lot of questions come in here. Again, Chris Squire of Yes, a legend indeed. Here's a question that came in. Will any of the XYZ material be officially released?
No, it's all been unofficially released. So I don't know if there's any need to ever officially release it. I wouldn't even know whether the original multi-tracks, where they are. Jimmy may still have them. Mm-hmm. We did use his studio to record them in. But obviously at some point some engineer managed to sneak out the rough mixes and put them up there on the net. So, so you can find them if you go and look for them.
I guess.
Four tracks or something.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but I've never really ever had any plans to release them officially.
Okay, good enough. I mean, great questions. I have a really good friend of mine who is also listening to this show. I want to say hi to Rob. Rob is actually, I think, a pretty good friend of yours, even though you've met so many people throughout your great career. Chris Squire of Yes on board here with us. But you're a big pool player. He played pool with you.
He did?
He did. He shot pool with you.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in and around Allentown, Pennsylvania, after the Talk Tour performance. He was hanging out. He has his best concert memory, a 10+ minute standing ovation after a killer performance of Heart of the Sunrise at the Spectrum in Philly in the fall of '87.
Oh, wow.
And then he goes on to say, he said, I witnessed an interview with Chris, Trevor, and Tony in a hotel in Allentown after the Talk Tour performance, and then we all had a few Irish coffees and a couple of games of pool.
Yeah, that sounds likely, yeah.
Now, something else that just came in here, too. How did Chris come to play Amazing Grace as a staple solo piece?
I just did that. It was an experiment back in, I guess the 70s. Because apart from playing the bass guitar on stage, I also play these other bass pedal tones with my feet, and so it was an experiment in harmony, really, to see if I could come up with something that people would get what I was doing with the two instruments at the same time, and so I just really chose that song because it's such a well-known song to people.
Sure.
Just demonstrate the use of the bass pedals and the bass guitar, really.
Yeah, it's. I mean, what you come up with, and I've seen some shows in Philly as well at the Spectrum, going back into the '80s. Absolutely, it's just amazing. And we just before this, we had a great guy on board here with us as well, who's actually listening to this interview right now in Jacksonville, Florida. I have to say hi to Bobby Ingram of Molly Hatchet. He's listening to us, and he had something that we wanted to pass along to Chris, right?
Yeah, he said he wants to meet Steve Howe.
Oh, I'll see if I can arrange it.
There you go. Well, yeah, he's Bobby Ingram of Molly Hatchet, Southern rock and roll guy, and they're going to be here. They're actually going to be here at the Peak along with Blackfoot on Saturday. When I told him that we're going to be talking to you coming up, he goes, "Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me!" He goes, "I have intercom systems throughout my entire house. I want to listen to this interview coming up." So, Chris, that's what he told us. He said, "Listen, if you can arrange something that Bobby and Steve could meet, that would be great."
Well, I guess I could do it through you, Doc. I mean, however that can work, I'll certainly pass the message on.
There you go. So, Chris, I know you're busy. I know you get back to a whole lot of things going on here. We're so looking forward to the show next Wednesday, March 30th. Yes, in concert. Last question for Chris Squire. And future of Yes?
Well, the future of Yes is that we're 80% of the way through a new studio album at the moment, which will be done by the end of, hopefully by the end of April, and we should be releasing that in the summer, and we'll be touring that album in the summer on a tour that I think Styx is coming along with us to play on that tour. So
wow.
We'll be revealing new music in the summer and along with playing with Styx.
That's awesome.
Cool.
I'll tell you what, Chris Squire, on behalf of myself and Liam, it's been an absolute incredible pleasure to at least be able to touch base with you with all the fond memories that you have brought to a lot of people on stage. And
may there be many more.
And we certainly hope that you do, with you and the entire band. We look forward to the concert next Wednesday right here at Penn's Peak.
Okay, I look forward to seeing you then.
Chris Squire, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, thanks, Liam.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
PennsPeakRadio.com